Hey guys! We are back in the kitchen with a super simple, basic recipe that everyone should sort of know, especially when they are just getting introduced into baking. We are going to be making classic whipped cream. Now, whipped cream may seem like it's something where you're like, that's so easy, I don't need to know about that. There are some principles and some tips that you can apply so you make it perfect every time, and then you can throw away the one that you grab at the grocery store when you're running out of time. Y'all know the whipped topping that be chilling. Okay, not that I'm hating on it, I got some at the crib too, but I will show you how easy it is to make this right at home so you have fresh whipped cream for all of your desserts. So first, to start off, we need just 3 ingredients for this. Actually, it could only be like 2, but I like to add some additional flavor. So I've got some vanilla and I've got some powdered sugar and of course some vanilla. You can switch this to lemon, you can use zest, you can play around with this. You can honestly make this into whatever you want, but this is a basic recipe that will go with basically anything, so we're gonna go with the basics. I've got some very cold, heavy whipping cream. The colder the better, it's gonna whip up faster and it's going to have a lot more structure too. I've got this cold bowl also. Everything cold is really essential, and if you can freeze your beaters, that will help you as well. So let's get started. We're starting to get to the consistency of soft peaks, which is where it still won't stand on your beaters. It'll fall back up and it'll become basically like a ribbon upon itself. And this is definitely not stable enough to use for icing or even as a topping, but we're gonna keep on going. Soft peaks be damned. So once we get a little past the soft peak phase, I personally like to add in my additional ingredients at this point. In our sugar goes and our vanilla. Like, that's when you can sort of test it and see, is this as firm as I like it? This is personally a preference for me. I like it to this texture. I think it's firm enough. I think it's nice and luscious, and it's just a beautiful complement to anything that you're making. And plus, it also still stays on the beater. You could also beat it just a tiny bit longer, but I would suggest not going overboard, because as soon as you do, this baby will turn into butter, and you don't want that. Well, you may want that, but in this case, we want whipped cream, so this is pretty good for me. So this looks perfect, y'all. One tip, if you're using this to ice a cake, I would suggest using a little bit of cornstarch. Adding that into your whipped cream is gonna help it stabilize, especially if you're having like a gathering outside, or it's gonna be at maybe like room temperature, then you wanna make sure that you have some stabilization. So let's taste it. Let's make sure it's perfect, y'all. And as you can see, that little big old, oh, look at that. Okay. I'm not gonna eat all of this on camera. That would just be rude. But I am gonna just take a little bite. Delicious. You can play around with the flavors. You can add as much sugar or as little sugar as you want to this. It's the perfect texture. This is going to be absolutely delicious on a cake, served with strawberry shortcake, like anything. This is good stuff, y'all. I can't wait to use it in my next recipe. Make sure you tune in next week. Make sure you head to grandbaby-cakes.com to grab this recipe and so many more. And don't forget to subscribe so you can check out my weekly recipe videos.